I had almost put it on the slides here.
Yeah. I think Cisco we already mentioned, right?
All right, we have a request for 2009. Stasi 2.0 into production.
Yeah, it
please.
goes live. What's
That
real
is,
claim or request is out from right the claims we are seeing in the real life all the time. For example, in airports, it's like the
ban
current
on
request or
liquids.
current claim that we can't take liquids through the control, and suddenly we're hearing voices like, "Oh well, it might not have been a good idea actually that we implemented these liquid controls." And where do we get these messages from?
The politicians.
From politicians.
The politicians were pissed. The politicians were pissed off that they couldn't take their honey and wine into the aircraft anymore.
Yeah, well, at Daimler Chrysler or Daimler, the CEO is driving each car as a beta version. So before they roll out or put them in production, the CEO or the board is driving smart for 2 weeks. So we're actually considering extending this concept for politicians. Before you, I don't know, pass a new law, you're going to live by it for like 2 weeks or something.
Public data retention for all.
For all delegates. Yeah, because quality matters.
Now, we have a running gag. Mobile malware update. Well, for about 10 years we pray already that with mobile malware there must be something possible. So last year we thought the iPhone would be it, and then there would be some nice mobile worms for it.
And then it turns out the iPhone is the only phone which people are updating at all. So, yeah, I mean, we really don't want to condone Apple there, because, I mean, after all, they're still way too slow. I think what time was it, 5 months?
They had a browser exploit only for 5 months.
Yeah, right.
And they were eclatant fault classes. Microsoft 99 like this, when you think back. Apple security updates are, oh my fucking god.
Right. Whatever. I mean, doesn't matter if it's iPhone or DNS slow. Well, Symbian?
Yeah, we listened something will happen there.
Yeah, right. Back to the updates. The problem is, I don't know, 5, 4, 6, whatever years we already said that the problem is people have basically no way of updating their phone. And now we find that with the new systems, people have the opportunity to update the systems,
but they don't do it. So there is a big manufacturer of Symbian phones, and they said, we ship every day more phones than people update per year. There's some interjection from the audience we didn't understand. So this means that this update problem, Apple is the only one that seems to have a grip on it.
a
But it
partial
won't
grasp
really
on the
help
problem.
them.
Yeah. Well,
And they promise new features, and they have to.
right now, does anyone know when copy and paste will arrive for the iPhone? So if you really have to push out a security fix, which is really, really important, it must be done instantly.
Before that, we won't see cut and paste. Or maybe we don't see Flash until then. Yeah, like we said, Symbian, we think there's something possible. Until now, nothing happened. Okay.
Right. A little bit we saw, but there wasn't that much. It was an MMS mobile phone worm, which we found on the Ether this year, but it turns out that the network providers are already filtering this kind of worms on the back end.
Okay. An interesting development is And that's the reason why we think it will really change.
Yeah, right. In the past, it was that the larger part of these premium SMS or short message systems,
Frauds.
yeah,
So this premium text message stuff, basically they sent €2 to the sender of the message. So
there's these communication providers, they are basically fed off because they're getting huge amounts of SMS spam, and so they are starting to blocking SS7 access, and they are starting actually to block whole countries, telling them to, hey, well, whatever, use voice over IP.
and this development leads to limit criminal.
Mine is already off because I'm translating. And to the technical background, SMS messages can be sent as different types. This was specified back then when SMS was developed. You can send an SMS as different types: telex, fax, paging, video text, or email. Nobody ever used it with these kind of standards. I mean, whatever is written in there, initially it stays in there. And some years later, somebody added to the standard something that you can convert an SMS to an email, and in case the first part of the SMS is an email address and it is being sent to the remote end, then the remote end will not show the number of the sending system, but the email address. And this, I mean, it wasn't really paid much attention back then when there were many SMS to email gateways, but then everybody decided, well, we don't need this anymore, we have emails on systems right now. But back then in 2002 or 2003, Nokia suddenly, we don't know why, started implementing this kind of specification. It was it might have been a customer request, but it seems nobody ever used it, because since the initial implementation there's a problem or error in the S60 phones, and I mean, one would have noticed this, but nobody ever paid attention to this and used it at all. They would have noticed otherwise. Okay.
Okay, and the developers thought, okay, we'll go for sure, and we create a buffer that has 32 characters. Now, but if somebody comes up now and sends an email text message, and a lower layer says, oh, there's an email address in there, I'll take this and I'll put it into the sender field, and this email address is now longer than 32 characters, it will pass it to the higher layer, which has a 32 character buffer, and bang. So then this is where it gets stuck, and the higher layer says, panic, I can't accept this, the text message is hanging in the buffer now, which causes that you are unable to receive or send further text messages.
And we already prepared something for you. Well, there we are sending a test SMS to the target system. There it arrives, and we see it works.
Now we take
a different phone. You can write these SMS messages from most of the phones. Please pay attention to low tech. There, we have a 33 character long email address. We're sending it. Oh, it's saying sending email.
Message sent.
Oh,
but nothing happens
at the target phone. Yeah, it obviously arrived, but it's not shown. Okay, now we're sending a normal SMS to test it out.
Fnord foo bar.
And as you can see, no incoming messages on the target. Nothing. No, we don't know what kind of phone Miss Merkel has, but that would be phone terror, right? Okay.
And
Now-
it will not accept any further text messages until factory reset.
Geiler Exploit.
And if you think, okay, no problem, I'll make a backup before that, and then I do a factory reset, well, actually, you will restore the problem. No
Right.
semantic readings until tomorrow. That will be possible deniability. I have a Nokia phone.
Well, and there's a little difference depending what kind of version of the Series 60s you have. That, for example, was a Series 60 3.0 version, and for 3.1 phone you don't need to send just one message but 11, and afterwards it shows you something like the memory is filled up, and you are asked to delete some of them, which is especially funny if there are none visible. Well, and with the 3.1 devices, it's that when you switch them off and on again, you might be able to receive certain SMS, for example, single parts of multi-parts, and if you receive a multi-part and you want to read it in full, you have to switch the phone off and on for each single part of the multi-part message. Well,
And because that is quite a big thing, well, like 7 weeks ago, exactly today, 7 weeks ago, we informed Nokia about it, the operator, and a few other big operators who actually addressed it with their security department.
well, there we have to differentiate between Nokia. Nokia sent me a reception receipt and a mail about which content are not allowed to talk, but there wasn't much more in there, so we really don't know what happened. And the operators were very much more helpful, especially David Meiche from Vodafone. Thank you very much. He tremendously helped that we could forward this to the GSM Association, in which every GSM operator is a member, and this could be passed on to every 1,600 GSM operators worldwide. And there is a possibility of solving this problem on the operator side, because if every SMS with this certain type, which nobody ever uses, we can block it or not accept it as type 50 and just rewrite it as a normal SMS, which then reaches the recipient. In Germany, we have 4 big operators, and
Only one of them was able to put such a filter up, and that's T-Mobile. Don't be happy so early. The text message architecture with T-Mobile is actually, when you send a text message, it will always be sent via the text message gateway of the sender. So the T-Mobile users, you cannot send such messages, but you can still receive them.
Well, question from the audience.
Yes,
Yes, the German Parliament has T-Mobile contracts, and everybody who feels hated and feels all the haters of the iPhone, no, the iPhone is not affected.
Apart from that, Fortinet, that's an Italian mobile antivirus manufacturer, they are working on a removal tool, and that you should be able to use it to get the mobile phone back to a working state without using a factory reset. And for some devices it already works.